What's up, guys? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. I'm Jess, and today's video is a keto question and answer video about my journey, about in general questions. But before I get started, I want to say I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm not a health expert. I'm just a girl who's lost 125 pounds using a ketogenic lifestyle and intermittent fasting. Please talk to your doctor and do your own research. With that being said, if you are new here and like to see videos about weight loss inspiration, how I do my keto, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below and turning on those notifications so you don't miss any videos, and a huge thumbs up. That lets me know you like videos like this. Now, I looked at how many comments are on here, and there's like 72 comments. For time's sake, I may need to break this into part 1 and part 2. I won't know until I actually read the comments, and I'll be able to decide better. So anyways, I may have to break this off and make this into 2 videos. So anyways, let's start with the first comment. I'm just going to read them off here. And by the way, I'm upstairs in my camp's loft. A new fun little place. On that side over there is my kid's bedroom, and on this side is our office. And that's a big window to get the lake breeze in here, and skylights also to have that nice airflow that you can't even, I can't even explain how amazing it is to get that lake breeze, like that constant, just cool, crisp air, even in the middle of summer. So anyways, let's jump into the keto question and answers. Okay, Jonathan Huggins, thank you for your content. I am down 40 pounds since my birthday. Congratulations. And under 290 pounds for the first time in 2 years. Huge 2 thumbs ups. Thanks for the recipe. You are welcome. And congrats, and keep going. Don't give up. Even if you have a tough day, just keep going, move on, and keep it keto. Tony, oh my, we're just going to call this one Tony. I'm excited to do this with you, and even more grateful that you are doing it in real time. Thanks, Jess. You're most welcome. I actually enjoy this. I really do. It's rewarding to me. I've reached my goal. Congrats. Huge congrats. Add some healthy carbs or concentrate on meeting calories. Thanks to you for your inspiration. I personally, when I hit my goal weight, I've actually kind of been pretending I was in maintenance mode while I've been on vacation, because my goal was not to lose weight right now. My goal is just to maintain. My goal when I get to my goal weight is just to eat intuitively. Once in a while, I'm going to throw in some quinoa, some wild rice, and stuff I normally wouldn't have now. I would just have that occasionally. And I would stay keto the rest of the time and just sprinkle that stuff in. And make sure for the first month, I plan on tracking my macros for the first month after I hit my goal weight, because I'm not going to be used to eating those serving sizes. I will always be used to a reduction or a deduction or a cut. So I'm going to probably experiment for that first month what the new serving size is going to be. And then I'll take my focus off the tracking and eat intuitively. Thank you for all the wonderful comments. Looks like a typical home in rural Alaska. It's pretty woodsy here in New Hampshire. It's one thing, it's a big difference from Texas. Lots of mountains and lots of lakes here. So proud of you. Thank you. I'm in the Monadnock region. The White Mountains are further north from here, but amazing and beautiful area. What exercises do you recommend? For me, I have a genetic heart defect, so I can't do too much stress when it comes to exercise. So my go-to has just been walking, with occasional sprints in there, just like kind of like an interval training, but nothing crazy, just walking or a brisk walk. And then I like to use body weight exercises, and I like to lift weights. But right now my gym reopened, but I haven't been to the gym in months, and that was a big part of my journey. I like to lift weights. I have resistance and that kind of thing as my form of exercise, because it's low stress on the body. It's just lifting something heavy and putting it down, where cardio tends to be more high stress. So I've always done walking with lifting weights or body exercises like push-ups, pull-ups, and working on all the arm areas and stuff. And body weight exercises like yoga, push-ups, stuff like that. So I would take it on what you like. At the end of the day, you have to do what you enjoy. My husband is a cyclist. I hate cycling. I don't ride with him, but he will come walk with me. But I'm just a fan of doing what makes you happy so that you'll do the exercise. The hardest part is just lacing up those shoes and starting the workout. Once you're in the workout, you will be, that's the easy part. Okay. I'm thinking about getting an air fryer. Do you have a recommendation? I have 2 air fryers, one in Texas in our normal house or our main house. This is our camp at the lake. So the one at Texas, I have the link down below. It's a Breville. Is that how you say that? Breville Smart Oven. It's a dehydrator, a air fryer, a oven, a toaster, a tons of things all in one. I think when I purchased it, it was like $499. I believe it's now $399, but it is amazing. It cooks evenly, and I literally use it more than my main oven at my house in Texas. Here at the camp, couldn't have a nicer one than I had at home, so I got a cheaper version. It's Corsori. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It was $179. It does the same thing. It's kind of like the knockoff of the Breville. You get what you pay for. This one cooks very unevenly. It gets the job done as long as I remember to take it out and turn it so that everything gets cooked evenly. But by far, hands down, the Breville air fryer is way better. But this is camp, and I'm okay with that. And so it's getting the Corsori is getting the job done. So I'll link both down below. But if you want my actual recommendation, I'd say Breville. I need exercises to tighten arms and legs. I do lots of push-ups, and you don't have to do it like the really hard way. You can start with having knees for assistance, but just getting that motion. You could even start with the wall and getting that motion, but I was real adamant about having nice arms when I was done. So I have been doing push-ups throughout my whole journey. I love push-ups. They're actually help tighten your belly too. It's a whole body in your lower back. The push-up is a whole body exercise. So push-ups, planks, and dips. Like you could sit at the end of your couch and just dip your body weight, like get your butt off the couch and dip. I have a body weight exercise video here I'll link. And then as far as legs, I have done so much walking. Since the started, I've done a lot of walking because our gym closed and all that stuff. And that tightens up your leg muscles, and using incline or going up hills and just keeping it fun will tone those legs. So if you like the way I look, I've just walked. I did lift up some weights when the gym was open with just regular weightlifting. But since the gym closed, I've just been doing push-ups and arm exercises at home. Nothing fancy. And then lots of kayaking up here at the lake. So if you have a canoe, a kayak, something that you can use your arms and have fun with it, do it. My sister looks like my mom. Yeah, she does. She's a clone of my mom. How did everybody like them? Oh, my sister is obviously not keto. She eats 100% of her diet carbs. And she's skinny. It's not fair, but she loved them. Absolutely loved them. And her partner has been doing keto with me, and I've been teaching her, and she loved them. She couldn't believe you could have fried chicken tenders on keto. So she'll be making them at home. And then my dad loved them, but I could give my dad a shovel full of dirt and he'd love it. My dad eats anything. He's really easy to please. My mom loved them, and obviously Kyle loved them, and they were kid approved. So I would say hands down, this was the best, such a great recipe. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it. And that's why I say don't make them every day. I would love to see your take on the WFPB diet. I have no idea what that is. I'm sorry. Crushed up pork rinds. Yes, they also work great on fried chicken or baked fried chicken. Let's see. Can you share where you got your keto bread recipe? I'll link it down below. The original recipe came from the Diet Chef, but I mean, I'll link it below and have all the links and stuff. Let's see. Who are your go-tos for keto recipes, and do you have any favorite cookbooks? I personally don't have any favorite cookbooks. I basically took the recipes I used to make and converted them to keto. I always loved like roasted vegetables, but I used to only use olive oil. And I didn't know how awful olive oil is for your body once it's past the heat or the smoke point. It changes the quality of the oil and all that. So I learned to switch to avocado oil so I could use those same recipes and have them healthy at a higher heat level. When it comes to who I follow highfalutin low carb. I follow KetoGenic. I follow Keto Focus. I follow, let's see, any other. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for food. But there's a lot of great recipes on Wholesome Yum. There's a lot of great recipes on All Day I Dream About Food. That's a great one. So yeah, those were 2 blogs, and then the rest were all YouTubers. So next. And then sometimes it does bother me because it seems like a lot of YouTubers literally use like bricks of cream cheese every time they make a recipe. And yeah, that's great once in a while, but it's like, it's all they eat. I can't eat that much cheese. So I unfollowed a lot of them because their recipes are just something I can't really use on a regular basis. They're okay for occasions. But I like to make recipes that don't have so much cheese, so much dairy, because it personally affects me. And obviously this is my journey, so that's what I do. And I feel better when I don't eat a brick of cream cheese every meal. But you know, if I do use cream cheese or something, it's just like a 2 ounces or something, and it's maybe a little heavy cream, but not entirely a creamy based sauce or cheese. Okay in moderation, but just not something that inspires me daily. If that makes any sense. What lake is that? We live on Laurel Lake. Our cottage is on Laurel Lake. It's in the southwestern section of New Hampshire. And from Texas, it takes us 2 days to get here. But by car, that is, because we bring our dog, and, you know, my parents live next door, so it just makes it all worth it. So is keto okay while pregnant? Yeah, I've seen, if you want to follow KetoGenic, what was their name? Mega was pregnant and did keto the whole time. So I would check out KetoGenic. They can speak on it better than I can, but I've seen people do keto while pregnant. Do you only go to the lake house once a year? Yes. Summers. Every summer I've come up here for my whole life. And plus we pay for this house we pay the taxes on this house. So we have to come up and make it worth it. Taxes are pricey in New Hampshire because there's no sales tax. So all of it comes from property tax. So that's why we stay so long too. And being that my husband works from home and I work from home, we're able to come up as long as we have an internet connection. Would you recommend a drink additive to get into ketosis? I would say use a keto, like perfect keto base. But I think if you just follow the keto diet, your body's going to get there anyways. So I would just do that. But I mean, if you really want like ketones or something like that, I would use the perfect keto base. I like the peach. I like the chocolate and stuff like that, but I don't use them a lot unless I'm fasting, like doing extended fasts, but they do get you into ketosis. But not any better than if you just took a couple of days and went strict keto, you'd be in the same spot. I'm 2 months into keto and started out at 305 pounds, and I have had bingo arms my whole life. Worried about all the extra skin after losing the weight. I dream of being able to wear sleeveless shirts with confidence at some point. As with any weight loss journey, you're going to have excess skin. I don't have much, but I think a lot of it's going to depend on your genetics, how long you were overweight, and what you did during your journey. If you lose weight really fast, it's going to show more skin. And like, I just found my low, slow, and steady approach really did a number on my results personally. Also, genetics will come in play. I take collagen every day. And I feel like that really has made a huge improvement in my skin overall. It supports skin, hair, nails, all stuff that you're going to want help with. And also like ligaments and joint pains, that helps like with that. I had a huge belly, so I always had lower back pain. So obviously losing my belly has helped, but I take the collagen for a shoulder injury. And not only that, it helped support my skin during this process. I use the Perfect Keto unflavored collagen every single day. I don't even miss one. Like I swear by it. But I also follow a ketogenic diet, and I also have done a lot of intermittent fasting. So I have very little excess skin. I was 309 pounds. I've lost 125 to this date, but a lot of people, that have come up and met me, they have no idea I weighed that much, because it's pretty much, it's not very visible where I have skin. I have skin on my inner thighs, and that's about the only problem area that I have on my body. I feel like they're very unsightly, but at the same time, I feel so good every day that I could care less what my thighs look like, because overall, my day, my life, everything has changed so much that it makes it all worth it. A little, the only downfall is a bathing suit. You can't really hide an inner thigh as well as you can, say, a tummy. But you know what? I wear it with pride, and sometimes it becomes a talking point with other people who are inspired and, by the way I approach the love for my body now. So don't be afraid of excess skin. It'll be worth it. And if it does become a problem after you've lost the weight, there's ways to get rid of it too. I just personally, I wear it with pride and I embrace it. And it reminds me of how strong I am and what I did for my body. So that's my approach when it comes to excess skin. But, here's my arms. You can see from my picture, I have a little bit if I don't flex or anything. That's as much as I have. But if I flex, this little corner right here is all I have. It's hard to tell I even had, like I've got definition in my arms. I really have to really wiggle to get that little part of skin going. But I had big arms when I started too. A lot of it does, I was already tall, so I was real spread out. If you're shorter at 305 pounds, it also, would be different than what my experience is. But being tall, always hitting my protein macros, always taking my collagen, doing lots of intermittent fasting and extended fasts. I have lots of topics on this channel. So check those videos, and genetics and the keto lifestyle. All of those things play into what your body looks like when you are at your goal weight. So, but don't stress it. It'll be worth it. And you won't, at the end of the day, you might wish you didn't have the excess skin, but you also are full of life, and it's worth every minute of, the little side effect of some skin. So embrace it and love it, and don't be afraid of it. And you can't, just because you might have big arms now, doesn't mean they'll not snap back. Sometimes they do. Okay, so you look so happy. I am so happy. I'm the happiest I've been in my life. I'm happier now than when I was in my college years, in my 20s. Those years where you're supposed to have so much fun. Yeah, I had fun, but honestly, I am happier now than then, and it's crazy. I just wake up happy and just like thankful for another day. And so I am happy. And having this channel and having this community and being able to share this journey and help others has been so therapeutic to my own soul. I'm a helper by nature. So this is my cup of tea. So I love what I do, and I'm happy that I get to do this every day. It's almost like being overweight was a blessing in disguise, to overcome that and to share that journey. How do you work your own food around what your kids eat? For my kids eat low carb. They don't really eat keto because they get extras here and there. But I do make sure to incorporate, when we eat meals, they also have what we have. When they're outside of the house, like if they go out to a restaurant, they go to a friend's house, that kind of thing, they can have whatever they want outside of our home. But at home, they eat low carb, and I do make sure low carb and gluten-free. I don't restrict them. I just don't buy all that junk that's full of sugar. I just can't do it. And the funny thing is they've only eaten this way. They don't know any different. When they go to their friends' houses and they get to have, whatever the sugary snacks that they're having, they almost don't even like it because it's so overwhelming and sweet to them. So I am proud that they're such good eaters and they have no complaints. But I feel like they just eat what I eat, but sometimes I'll throw black beans on their plate. Because black beans are real easy. They've got fiber. My kids eat their weight in black beans. But I'll just add a few things to their plates to make them more balanced for a kid. And obviously they're not trying to lose weight. In fact, they're like little bean sprouts. But if I'm making a turkey roll up for me, I'll offer them, do you want to make it in a sandwich or do you want to have a roll up like mommy? And they usually always want to do what I'm doing. So they copy what I do. And that's another thing that's like, I'm glad I did this now, because the way I used to eat, they would have picked up those habits themselves. So I binged eat all the time and stuff like that. So I will say that is pretty cool that they want to copy what I do, and indirectly that helps them and they don't even know it. But the main thing is, to recap, they eat low carb. They eat what I eat at home, but I'll throw in some extras like black beans, some quinoa. They love quinoa because it's like little, I don't know, they just love eating it. But something as simple as that, or I'll let them have a piece of gluten-free bread on a sandwich versus I'll just not have the bread. So, but that's it. And then when it comes to fasting, when I do extended fast, or if I'm doing any fasting alone, how do I explain that to my kid? Like, Mommy, why are you not having dinner? And I'll be like, well, Mommy's done growing. Mommy doesn't need all these extra calories. You are still growing and it's fine for you, but I don't have to grow. And I'm all done growing. And they're like, oh, okay. And never said another word since. So now if I don't eat with them or something, Mommy, are you fasting? And like, yeah, so whatever. And move along. So, but when I do an extended fast or something, I still sit at the table. I'm just sipping on a sparkling water, a coffee, a tea, an herbal tea, something like that. And I'll sit with them still. I just won't eat, and they won't eat. They never even question it. So, but it might just be how I explained it to them. How many grams of fat should an obese person or BMI around 41% eat on a keto for maximum fat loss? I personally think it's going to depend on each person. For me, I just ate until I was full, and I never it was never my goal to hit my fat macros in Carb Manager. I would eat what I was planning on eating, and whatever the fat was whatever it is. I just knew not to go over that number. But for me, I always stayed well under my fat macros because I was morbidly obese. I was 309 pounds. I was, I think, 46% fat back then. I don't remember. It was way high. But I wanted my body to take from my fat, not eat excess fat, because why would you eat excess fat when you have excess fat? So my body would take from that first. And that worked for me. Some people feel differently, but for me, I had maximum fat loss by not hitting my fat macros. But I did focus on hitting protein and staying under carbs. That's more of a sticking point, and I wouldn't stress so much about the fat part. If you're full and you're at 90 grams of your 120 grams of fat and you feel good, there's no reason to have any more. Don't do it. Listen to your body. If you have had 90 fat grams and you're starved, you have room left in your fat macros to have fat. So, I mean, just listen to your body. But the main thing is, you got to do you. So listen and eat intuitively. And my personal opinion was I never really stressed about hitting that fat goal. I usually always am well under the fat goal. I would like to know what form of exercise you recommend to go along with keto, strength or cardio. I personally prefer strength, but was told multiple people that if I do strength, the scale will not move fast. Not true. My entire journey up until the time, I have always done weightlifting. And it wasn't until I switched over, because my gym closed, that I started walking in the first place. But I always lost the scale has gone down from the past 16 months. And that was what I was mostly doing, was strength training. Personally, if I had to say it, like I said at the beginning of the video, you got to do what makes you happy. I like to walk regardless of weight loss. It clears my mind, which also lowers cortisol, which increases endorphins. And, you know, that whole, I just moving my body feels good for me. Stress reliever. But if I had to pick what I want to do, I like to do weightlifting. But obviously right now with the world situation, I don't even know when I'll be back in the gym. So walking is working right now too. So at the end of the day, do what makes you happy and do what you can do. I want to know how I can vacation that long. Well, technically I don't vacation this long. We are still working from here. My husband works from home, so that's why we can come up here for so long. He doesn't go into an office every day. He works, everything's online. How do you get started? First off, you got to find your why. Why do you want to change your life? Why? That's the first answer you need to answer for yourself. And I sat down with this raggedy ass pen and paper, and I just put why. Why do I want to change my life? And I wrote all the reasons. And then after getting that all out and seeing that all on paper, a year into my journey, I went back to that paper, and I pretty much had hit every nail on the, checked it all off. It fixed it, So you need your why, because you need your why for those vulnerable moments where you want to indulge, or maybe it's just too hard, or you want to make an excuse and not do the right thing. You're going to need your why to draw from, because right before you put something in your mouth, you can remind yourself, why am I doing this? Why? Why? And you can, if you say to you, feel better to, get up without pain, to fit into some nice clothes that you can't normally wear, or whatever it is, there's your answer. So if you have that bite, is that going to, are you going to change your life if you do that? So you need your why to draw on when you need strength to power through those difficult times. I have failed so many times throughout my journey, but my why has always been there. And I was going so far down the wrong path that anything was better than what I was currently on. And I gave it one last try. And you know what? After failing for 17 years to lose this weight, I gave it one more try by not giving up. And here I am today preaching to this whole channel. So you can't give up, and you've got to know your why you're doing it in the first place. That's the first way to get started. Once you have that thing, just actually sitting down and making a meal plan of things that you might want to try and eat. Start with the Clean 30. Start with the Total Carb Challenge. Just find something that inspires you. Either copy it at first to learn it, or take that as inspiration and do what works for you. But you have, at the end of the day, you've got to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with yourself and find out, why are you doing this in the first place? And start taking it day by day. Small goals. So day one, the whole goal should be, don't have any sugar. Don't track a single thing. Don't have anything white, like bread, pasta, sugar, all those things. Just cut them all out and just make it through the day. Make it through a first meal. Then make it through the day, make it through 2 days, make it through 3 days, make it to Friday eating this way. And it just, that success builds and builds and builds. And eventually the time's going to pass anyways. And even when I failed on this journey, I just got back up the next day, dusted myself off, and started over. It's the same thing. It's the same way to do it every single time. You just can't give up. You've got to do whatever it takes to get yourself there. Have you ever fallen off the wagon? And yes, constantly. I've probably, oh my gosh, I've fallen off the wagon. I don't even know how many times, but I've been very vocal about that and owning it. It's almost like all of the Monday weekly weigh-ins. I'll put a playlist here. Every Monday, I tell you how the past week went. Some weeks I gain. Some weeks I lose. Some weeks I have a stall. But it's all part of the journey, and it's all getting me to where I am today. And if I hadn't fallen flat in my face, I don't know how many times I wouldn't have learned what I did wrong and how to overcome that to get to where I am today, where I don't fail often anymore. I still have my little failures, but I don't fail so often like I did in the beginning of my journey, because it's a learning process. What worked for me didn't necessarily work for somebody else that I was trying to copy or something. So I had to find what worked out for me. So there was a lot of failures in the beginning part of my journey. I learned I can't have a ton of dairy. I can't have a lot of cheat meals because it's a slippery slope for me. I'm a binge eater. I'm an overeater. I'm a sugar addict. I had to accept the fact that I was a sugar addict. I was not somebody who just, I just had to accept that I was a sugaraholic, sugar addict. And I learned how to manage that. I will always be a sugar addict, but I will never let myself go down that slippery slope because I learned how to manage it. And all those failures taught me that. Had I not failed, I wouldn't know what I know today. So embrace those failures and do whatever it takes. Just keep going forward. Don't look back. I just can't stay on track anymore. How do I stay on track? I would start off by taking a whole week and plan, focus. And if you don't have a plan for everything, it's hard to stay on track. This world's not set up for someone to make a ketogenic lifestyle easy. We are bombarded with sugar commercials. We are bombarded with advertisements, billboards, everything. You go in a grocery store, what's the first thing you see when you come in? Sugar, whether it be a sugary fruit that's in season or a cupcake or, a cake, just right in your face. So if you don't go in with a plan, you're not going to stay on track, because you've got to be able to play offense on your journey, because you're going to encounter lots of sabotages that are going to be influencing you, and you've got to know how to overcome that. So first thing is, I would say, is get a plan. You can start from one of my Keto Rewind Clean 30 challenges, or this total carb challenge that I'm doing starting for the month of August. But get a meal plan, make a menu, get a shopping list, go and buy those things on that shopping list, or shop online and have it delivered so you don't have the temptation of a store. Or what you could do is start tracking with your food diary, and then watching it and visually seeing things on that screen. It's eye-opening, and at the same time, you also need support. You need a community like, the Keto Rewind channel. You need family, a friend, somebody to talk to you about this and to keep you inspired. So in the same, and going along with my previous question, you've got to know your why. Why are you doing it? You need to fall back on that why, and you need to answer it, and you need to be honest with yourself. You can do it, and you have to have faith. You can do it. Do any of you chew gum? I use it as a bridge. I occasionally chew sugar-free gum. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I don't do it all the time, but if that's the bridge that works for you, do it. My husband loves chewing gum. It does help him. So there's no shame in your game. Use whatever bridge works for you. What is your exercise routine? Do you think it is played a small or large role in your transformation? It has played an enormous role for my mental health. I get a lot of frustration, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety out when I do exercise in general. Because my journey fell in the middle of a pandemic. I've had to figure out other ways to get exercise in. But I originally started off with weight training in the gym, and that makes me happy. I like weight training. But as I said in previous comments, the cardio is what I've transitioned to lately, and that's just a lot of walking. Because I can't go to my gym right now. Plus, I'm out of state. But I've recently been doing kayaking and lots of swimming. So any exercise that brings joy to you is what you should do. It played a huge role. As for I was too embarrassed. The first 4 months of my journey, I was too embarrassed to step foot in a gym at that weight. I thought everybody was looking at me, that kind of thing. But once I got over that mental struggle, which was silly because since I've been at the gym, nobody looks at me, we're all doing our thing, but I literally lost the first 4 months with zero, like the most huge chunks of weight came off those first 4 months, and I did zero exercise at all. I did not go to gym. I was too embarrassed. So, but now it's more of a mental thing to keep me going and stress-free. And, so I rely on it now for my mental health, but as for actual weight loss, it played hardly any role. Thanks for not turning your channel into a pay for more info channel. You're doing great and the people love you. Yep, that's not my jam. I find this such rewarding work. I get paid on the ads that you watch before the videos. I mean, and the affiliates you shop with. I don't feel like I need to ask for more. I'm very happy with what I do get. It's rewarding work, and I don't do it for the money in the first place. Obviously, my husband's the breadwinner in my family. So it takes the pressure off of me for having to do all that. But I mean, I'm not throwing shade on someone who does do that. It's just not my cup of tea. So I'm glad you all appreciate that. Thank you for sharing your tips and tricks. I tend to have a hard time with sweets, and nuts usually gets me off track. How do you cure your sweet tooth in a healthy way? Thanks for an advance. Plan for it. If I know I'm going to have a slice of cake, or I'm going to have a higher carb dinner, I plan for it in the early parts of the day. So I'll have like 0 carb lunches. So like eggs, bacon, just a plain meat and fat type lunch, so that I have room in my schedule or in my food diary, to have those extras. But I find that I can't exclude them. If I exclude any sweets, any treats, I find that's all I dream about. It's all I want. So I can't exclude them. I can limit them, however. So I know that I can have them, but I can't have them every day. I just make sure that I'll have them once a week. I find that eating in moderation is absolutely clutch. It's that 95% rule that I kind of live by. 95% of the time I am clean as a whistle, but 5% of the time I'm enjoying life, and I'm not having any shame in that. So if that means I'm having a keto treat or a keto recipe with lots of cheese or something, I'll have it then and not sweat it. I'll have a free day where I don't even eat keto, but I don't have it all the day. I have to rein that in and have that control. You've got to control that. So you've got to live in, if you're like me and you find that if you say you can't have something, you can't live like that, you've got to just limit it. It's the way you treat your body, you treat yourself when you have it as well. When I plan a free day, I know that I've planned it. It's been worked into my schedule, and I have no regrets. Other than feeling like crap, but I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? I feel okay with having that decision. I've planned for it. It wasn't like some chips just landed in my mouth. Like, I literally was okay with it. I brought to terms with it. When I don't plan for it and it just happens, I feel like I failed. So, and I don't want to feel like I failed. You got to manage, like, I am a food addict, so I have to manage the way I talk and embrace and listen to myself and what I want. If during my monthly cycles, when not flow shows up, I need more chocolate and more sweets. I just know that about me, so I plan ahead for that. The beginning of the month, I'm usually spot on. I'm clean as a whistle. But it's just all about having that balance and finding a balance that works with you and living within the extremes. I can't be 0 and 0 on, I can't have 0 or 100%. I had to find what worked for me, finding that balance within those extremes of enjoying life. And then just knowing that you get back on track the next day. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience. You are most welcome. Do you have excess skin on your tummy? How do you deal with it? Do you exercise? If so, when do you start? I don't have any excess skin on my stomach. I've had 2 C-sections, so I have that lower C-section pooch, but it's so low that it doesn't really come into play anything. I could show you my tummy here. Here's my tummy. So you can see the low, like a little bit of excess skin right there, but overall, like those tan lines from my bathing suit, I have no extra skin on my tummy. I guess if you wanted to really like pull at something, you could find something to pull at. But overall, I've stayed pretty tight. And the reason I've stayed pretty tight is I do lots of push-ups and planks and lifting heavy weights. So I didn't just, I also feel genetics are going to play in a role. But my tummy, even when I was big, you can see in my before pictures, I still had a flat tummy. It was just enormous. It's basically what I have now, just like 100 pounds more in there, So, but I never really had like rolls on my stomach. It was just one big roll, like one giant tub. So a lot of that is going to happen. What you look like now is going to be pretty close to what you look like as it shrinks. You know, imagine, you know, when you put shrink wrap on something, you know, that just clings and shrinks, but that shape is still there. But as for exercises, I tighten those abdominals with planks and push-ups. And I did a lot of weightlifting, like bench press and stuff like that when I went to the gym. But, you know, but the body weight exercises are clutch for the tummy. I will do a whole video when I get to my goal weight on excess skin and stuff like that with more details. But overall, my tummy is not an area that is a problem area. My inner thighs were probably the only thing that really bothers me, but it is what it is. The one question I have that seems to be taboo for anyone to answer is cheating. How much does it tear you down to cheat? I've heard from absolutely nothing to cheating once a week. You got to do you, what works for you. For me, I don't call it cheat. I now call it freedom or free days. So I have a free day. I will have a free day once a month. I will have a sweet treat that's keto, maybe once a week. I have it in moderation. I would never say I would never have a carb again in my lifetime. I just would never say that. I like the balance of extremes. I like to be able to still live. Like when I go to a friend's house, they don't have to make me keto food. You know, like I will have a free day then and not stress about it. I've had a lot of free days in my journey. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. It's part of how to get back up when you're down. And there is beauty in that process. So for me, I willingly say all the time, I have free days all the time. But 95% of my journey in life going forward is 95% keto, and it's 95% clean keto. So I'm okay with that other 5% of living. If you get what I'm trying to say. So I know a lot of people are like keto police. I've got so much flack on my channel from the keto police. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is my journey in my life. So I'm going to do what makes me happy, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And getting to the goal and living this lifestyle is all that matters to me. All the extra outside noise that's around doesn't bother me. But it took a while to get in this place. So you got to put the work in to be able to live in that balance of extremes. And also, I guess it's a personal choice. If you want to eat foods that are not keto, I don't think they're going to, I mean, yeah, those foods every day, all days got me to 309 pounds, but one meal here and there isn't going to make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. And it allows me to feel like I'm not missing out. Even though I know I'm not missing out, I'm absolutely doing better, but you know, it's just that psychological thing that makes me feel normal. My question is, as a teacher, what and how would you suggest meal plans for lunch? I would eat when you can on a schedule that works for you. I don't know if you get to eat your desk or whatnot or in between breaks, but I find making meal prep, like when I make dinners for my husband, we would do like, you know, there's only 4 of us when my parents aren't in town. I'll make a servings for 6, and you can bring that leftovers as long as you have a microwave, just heat them up the next day and have that already thought process right there done. You know, it's measured, it's portioned. And you eat when you can. So other easy lunch ideas would use like lunch or deli meats, just cold chicken with like with hard-boiled eggs, you know, easy avocado, just finger foods types things for lunch. But you've got to do some planning at the end of the day. And look who's here, my sister. Hi. And then let's see. I'm almost down to the bottom. Here, we'll get a picture of us. Oop, gotta turn the camera. Say hi. There's my skinny sister. It's not fair. She eats all the carbs. But we joke. I've been all over her since she's been up here. And I'm almost through here. I've been doing strict keto for a month now, and I haven't lost any weight. I have, however, lost 12.5 inches so far. I've been following another lady, and her method is overboard on fat. And while I can now tolerate it, I do wonder if it's not doing me any favors to consume that much fat in one day. Is there a minimum fat intake you think? Yes. Oh my gosh. If you are overweight, your body has a 24-hour buffet on board full of fat to use from. I have always, for me, I found that if I wanted maximum fat loss, I was going to have to limit my fat and not use that as a goal. A lot of people see that 70% fat number in the macros and they think, oh my God, I got to eat all that fat. No, if you have excess fat, you don't need to. Your body's going to take from that. You're still going to eat the keto macros every day, but instead of ingesting that extra, your body's going to take it from yourself. So for me, my approach has always been a lower fat keto. I just strive to hit protein and strive to standard carbs and use the body fat that I have as the fat macro portion in my daily macros. So never use a high fat approach. If you're seeing this result for yourself, limit your fat and eat until you're full. So for instance, if say you had 120 fat grams in your daily macros, don't go over 100. Give that 20 grams of fat macro cushion for your body to take from you, as long as you're feeling full. If you're hungry, you still have 20 grams to eat worth of fat. That's optional, or you can just listen to your body. If 90 grams of fat made you feel full and you feel great, listen to your body first. And know that you can have more if you do get hungry. But I would say all of my videos, my entire channel, I have never ever it was never a goal of mine to hit my fat macros. I stayed way under my fat macros. How important is exercise in your journey? I kind of answered that in a few others, but as for weight loss, the weight loss part, it meant nothing in the regards to weight loss, because the bulk of my weight loss came in like the first 4 months of my journey. But mentally, it was clutch. I have to use that. I have to have that release. And I find that any form of exercise to give that release is so important. Thank you for all these kind comments. I'm obviously trying to keep the video short by only answering questions, but I do appreciate all of these comments. It's so awesome to hear it. And if I've missed anybody, I'm sorry. I'm trying to, make the most of this. And what oil did I use to fry the chicken? I used coconut oil to start, but my air fryer was pretty big. My oil fryer was pretty big, so I had to add more, and I ended up using avocado oil for the rest. So it was a blend of coconut and avocado oil. And reuse the oil. Save it. Don't just waste it in one time. If you plan to ever fry something again, save that oil. Strain it and store it in mason jars or the bottle that it came in. Either one. So do that. Wait till the oil cools, strain it, and then store it in either the bottle that it came from or use a mason jar and reuse that oil over and over again. Just strain it every time. And yeah.
Do you use a coffee filter?
I use one of those mesh, the thing you sift flour with, whatever that thing's called.
Yeah, just in case they don't know.
And just to strain it, to get the chunks out. You don't want any of those chunks with the sludge. All right, and I think that was all the questions. So if I have missed somebody, I'm sorry. I kind of went through this pretty quickly, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I will make another one of these probably next month. If you enjoy videos like this, comment below, or if you have a follow-up question. Sometimes I've done keto question and answer videos in the past and had to make a follow-up because there was follow-up questions in it, so I may have to do another one of those. So either way, I enjoy making videos like this. They're real informative. And I guess we will proceed with another keto question and answer video in the future. So I'm Jess, you're watching Keto Rewind. Thanks for clicking on today's video. Have a great one. See you later.